Hello, everyone. This is Shawn 1113, your host for the Shawn 1113 podcast show. I'm going to do a couple of new things here. Thank you so much for listening to the Shawn 1113 cast show, recorded on November 4th, 2024, on the eve of the election day. I do want to say one thing about that. I'll tell you, whatever happens, happens. But I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, it feels like I feel like I'm seeing a movie that's been continuing for a long time. So we just all anybody has to do is pray, give it to God, and hope for the best. Now, on back to the show. Um, for me, it's couple of things here. I'm doing a thing called 123 apps. It's a new audio recorder because the other one, I don't know what happened to that. Um, and it was, and it's like all of a sudden it just malfunctioned. So I'm using this right now. I've done some testing. It sounds good. And also, excuse me, from here on out, um, for the Shawn 1113 podcast show and my video on YouTube. Um, on YouTube, it will be exclusively on Facebook to share. And also, but this show and this episode from here on out will be on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, with that, if you love this content, please put a 5-star review, comment about the channel to Spotify for podcasters, and many more, and wherever podcast you may be listening to. And it can be anywhere from Apple to Google, Apple to Podcast Republic, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and many other podcasts that you will see this show. Now let's get to the sporting aspect, shall we? First and foremost, the NFL. Of course, the picks, and then my Sean Steele's top 12 for college football and college football picks, Lucky 7. And first, I'm going to go with the World Series. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers, my Los Angeles Dodgers, for winning the World Series recently. And the Yankees, and thank you for the York Yankees, who are floating in the fifth inning, looking like the modern version of the Keystone Cops with that really great example of poor defensive display. And I know Yankee fans feel, oh boy, oh boy, again. Well, the Keystone Cops would have done a better job than that defense in the fifth inning, and Freddie Freeman deserved to be the MVP. Now, with that, excuse me, the NFL. Let's go to that. A lot of things happened there, and my Dolphins, they played well. I feel like the Dolphins consistently, Mozart was fumbling the ball. The defense is starting to show um, as well. So they're 2-6. It really doesn't matter because Buffalo's going to win the AFC, and they'll be the only team in that division to go to the AFC playoffs. So Detroit's still the best team, followed by Kansas City right now. So, like I said, it's like I said, everything's going to sort itself out eventually with that. College football, very interesting developments here. Louisville, upsetting Clemson, and SMU. Like I said, was going to beat Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh. ACC, it's a lot of chaos, and I love this kind of chaos because we don't know who's a clear cut number one. Seems like Oregon is, but it's not guaranteed. Ohio State is definitely up there now because they're the winner over Penn State. Um, but like I said, it's going to sort itself out with the playoff picture, the CPS picture as it comes in. So I'm very much looking forward for college football. Probably maybe even more than the NFL at this point. but the NFL will be in January though, so that will happen. And also, Premier League soccer. Well, it had to happen sometime to Manchester City. I thought it was going to Arsenal, Liverpool, one of those, Brighton, even Aston Villa, but Bournemouth. Wow, you got to be kidding me! Wow, and ugh, that was not good. That wasn't good when I saw the highlights of that. Excuse me. So with that now NBA, NHL ongoing with their seasons. It's early right now with that. Before we get a clear picture of that, now onto my picks. Actually, oh, I forgot one thing. R.I.P. Quincy Jones. He passed away. I think yesterday on that. Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Now with my Shawn Steele's Week 11 college football lucky 7 picks and NFL picks week 10. Here we go. And everything will be linked in the description, by the way. Week 11, Colorado and Texas Tech. I'm picking Colorado. Georgia and Ole Miss picking Georgia, but although Georgia looks shaky. BYU and Utah picking BYU. Michigan and Indiana. Do not sleep on Indiana. If I'm Ohio State, I would not sleep on Indiana, but I'm picking Indiana over Michigan. Oklahoma State against TCU, picking TCU. Washington and Penn State. I'm actually going to pick Washington in that one. And Alabama and LSU in basically an elimination game for the CFP playoffs. I'm picking Alabama. Week 10 of the NFL season. Cincinnati and Baltimore picking Baltimore. I think right now Baltimore, in my opinion, Detroit and Kansas City are probably the 3 best teams based on talent, followed by Washington at the moment, in my opinion. So, of course, the rankings are going to be on YouTube, but like I said, we'll see. New York Giants and Carolina. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pick the New York Giants. New England, Chicago. Buffalo, Indianapolis. I'm picking Buffalo to continue to win. Denver and Kansas City. I was going to pick Denver. I said, no. I'm going to pick Kansas City. Atlanta and New Orleans. Pick Atlanta. San Francisco and Tampa Bay. I'm going to pick San Francisco. Pittsburgh and Washington. Picking Washington. Minnesota and Jacksonville. I'm picking Minnesota. Although that's a 50-50 game. Tennessee and the LA Chargers. I think the Chargers are better than people think. I'm picking the Chargers. Philadelphia and Dallas Dallas is falling apart at the seams. I'm picking Philadelphia. New York Giants and Arizona picking the New York Jets. Actually, who am I kidding? I'm picking Arizona. And they're at home, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going to Detroit and Houston until proven. I'm going to pick Detroit. And Miami and the LA Rams, I think Miami will finally get the skid against the Rams team, although the Rams are getting much healthier now. Shawn Steele's CFB 12-12. Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Miami, Florida. 5, Texas. 6, BYU. 7, Notre Dame. 8, Indiana. 9, Boise State. 10, Tennessee. Number 11, Alabama. And number 12, LSU. We'll see what happens with the CPF playoff standings as time goes on. Earlier this week in the week. So I will have a thought about that. And that is it for the Shawn Lemon 13 podcast show for November 4th, 2024. If you love this comment, if you like the review this commentary, everything will be linked in the description and all the games, all the picks, and all the other stuff. So with that, that is the Shawn Lemon 13 podcast show. Thank you for listening to this episode. And please stay encouraged no matter what. And live your life as normal as possible in an abnormal world.